Good morning, everybody. It is time for our Magic in This Night September stamp class. Very excited to share these products with you and make a couple of cute projects today. We'll wait just a little bit to see who can join us live. But if you're watching the replay, you still want to comment on the videos because we will have a giveaway. Good morning. Glad y'all are here. Are you able to find it, Dee? Yeah. Okay. So Dale has got the iPad pulled up so he can keep an eye on comments for us. I know LaDonna, Judy, I think I saw Donna Fenton. The comments flew by pretty fast, y'all. So glad you're here with us. Happy Saturday. I didn't think Saturday would ever get here. So we'll wait just a little bit and get started with stamp class. Like I said, we're using the Magic in This Night suite today. And we're making a couple of treats and a couple of cards. If you have not gotten your supplies ready for mystery stamping yet, you still have time. We'll do mystery stamping after the third video at 11 o'clock. So you've got time to go find that post. If you need any help finding it, let us know and we can tag you in that. Let me go ahead and bring my mini catalog in. And on page 52 is where this suite starts. Lots of really cute samples. When I opened the catalog this morning, I saw these candles, the way that they decorated those. Isn't that cute? Bring it a little bit closer where you can see. And I'll show you the die that they use for this decorative piece. Very pretty. And so there's a lot of components in this suite. And if you are a Halloween person and you love making Halloween treats and projects, remember that there's a suite collection. So with just one number, you get one of everything in the suite. So that makes it super easy. That's like the easy button of crafting, isn't it? And then when we turn the page over to 54, features the stamp set and then a few more projects. So there's lots of samples and inspiration for you. And we'll go through the items in this suite right quick. First up is this beautiful metallic ribbon. Let me see if I put it on the back of here, if you can see it better. It's 1.5 inches wide, and it's very spider webby. It's really pretty. I know back when we did the launch party, we showed you how you can color it with a sponge dauber or a sponge, just with your ink. But it's easy to work with. It's very pretty. We're going to be using it a lot today. Oops. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the Magic in This Night Designer Series paper. I'm calling this Creepy Pretty paper. It really is neat. It's not like anything we've had in the past for Halloween. So I like the black roses. Got some bats. This is Pretty Peacock, which that kind of surprised me using that as a Halloween color. So you've got Cajun Craze, Blackberry Bliss, Pretty Peacock. Let's think, what else? Whisper White and Basic Black in the paper. It's really pretty. And then we've got the Cobweb embossing folder, and you'll see us using that today a little bit. Love it. And these awesome iridescent pearls, I don't know how well they'll show up on camera, but they are so pretty. And depending on what you're using them with, it kind of depends on what color they pull. So when you're using them with Blackberry Bliss, they turn a little bit more purple. When you're using them with Pretty Peacock, it really pulls the blue from them. So each of them is a little bit different, and there's 2 different sizes. So these are beautiful. Even if you're not into Halloween, I would recommend these iridescent pearls because they would be very, very pretty on fall and Christmas projects as well. And we'll be using those some today too. Then we have the stamp set, the Hallows Night Magic stamp set. And I love these kind of filigree bats. We're not using them today. We're using a lot of the stamps today, but I didn't end up designing anything with these bats. That may be part of your Happy Mail, because I always like to use as many of the stamps and dies as I can. Then here are the dies. Pull them a little bit closer. I don't have them on a magnet sheet yet, so they're not as well contained as usual. So let me just show you. You've got a flower, this little sprig. You've got one that cuts out the bats, and also the spider. This is that piece that they're using to wrap around the candle and give it that decorative edge, and we are going to use that today, cut from the black glitter paper, and you'll see how cool that is. You've got a couple of different frames that are good for your sentiments, and some stamps that kind of coordinate to go around those frames, those label frames too. And we're using one of those in, I think, a pretty neat way today. And we'll show you in just a little bit with our first project. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into creating. So first up, we have this little treat holder, and it almost works like a little matchbook. So inside we've got some Hershey bars, the little miniature Hershey bars, and they're not adhered in or anything. The recipient can just pull those out and enjoy them. We're using the ribbon to hold this part together. Thought it turned out super cute, and it is very easy to create. So if you are the rock star at work and you're the one that always brings the treats at the holidays, this would be a great one to make. Let me go ahead and pull some pieces in, and we'll get started. So somewhere I have some measurements. Let me grab this piece of paper. And of course we'll do a PDF tutorial, and it'll be available later in the week for you. I'll post it in the group, and you can always check the files in the group if you're looking for the PDFs. So this measures 9 7/8 by 3 1/4, and then it's scored at 2, 2 1/2, 6, and 6 1/2. And then we've got a piece of the Designer Series paper that is 3 by 3 1/4 that we're going to put on the front. Just a little scrap of, this is crushed curry, thanks Dee, for our moon. And then I'll bring in some of the bats. Let me bring this a little bit closer. You can see we've got the glitter paper bats. And then this is where we're using one of those label dies to kind of make a little tombstone. I don't think I grabbed a bone folder. Let me see if I can't find one. I usually have one on my desk. See one, Dee? Dale's here helping me, by the way. That's fine. Okay, let's go ahead. I've already folded this, but we'll still go ahead and reinforce those score lines. And get this folded up. Y'all let us know how you're doing today. What? The magnet sheets. We just get those on Amazon, and normally I just cut a piece of that to put my dies on, and I really like doing that and putting them back in the folder on that magnet sheet, but I just get them from Amazon. They're not very expensive. I think they're called register covers. Yes. Is that what they're, heater covers? Or I think you could probably go out to Home Depot if you're out there and pick some up there. So here's our little box. We've got it all folded. So you can see how it kind of comes together there. And then this Designer Series paper kind of has that white core. So I'm really into inking edges, y'all. I'm going to bring Memento Tuxedo Black in and find my black ink dauber. And I'll see if you can tell on screen, on the camera, what a difference that makes. I think it really does help. I know LaDonna's not a huge fan of inking edges, but sometimes, especially when you want something spooky, it really adds to it, just that little bit. And then we're going to ink our moon too. So this little piece is just going to fit right on the front. I think you're going to find that this comes together really quickly. It's an easy project, but it's cute. Okay, let me see if my glue will get going this morning. The train already came through about 10 or 15 minutes ago, so don't want my bats flying upside down. Just put this on the front and get it kind of centered as much as I can. Up a little bit too high. Now I've got glue everywhere. Let's try that again before it adheres too much. And I think I hear another train coming through. Let me bring it down some more. That black on black. Let's try this. Y'all tend to make Halloween treats to give out. I don't know if I've cut that wrong or what, but it's not cooperating. Come down just a little bit further. I think that's better. But now that's going to be sticky. I'll use my adhesive eraser in just a minute. So we've got our bats in place. Okay, next up, let's do a little bit of inking. We'll do our moon next, I think. So I just have a 1.5 inch circle punch. Like we said, it's just crushed curry cardstock. And although that makes a cute little moon, I think if we use some ink, some Cajun Craze ink, to ink the edges of it, it'll be even cuter. I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet while I'm doing that. And you know we have our sponges, and they come in a package of 3. I tend to cut them up into either 6 or 8 pieces. And that way you have almost like a little handle when it's a wedge, and you can easily ink your edges here of your cardstock. And it just gives you a different look, I think, than when you're using a sponge dauber. I want to go pretty heavy around the edges, and then I'm just going to kind of brush that ink across the surface of the moon, kind of make it look a little bit cratery. And I'm purposely going a little bit darker in some spots, leaving a little bit more light area in other spots, just to give it a little bit more realistic look. And we could probably go ahead and stamp our tombstone.
Oh, so you noticed the train.
The what? Oh, the train. Yes, it's kind of hard to miss, isn't it? That's just part of living where we live. Every single video, y'all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the edges of this as well. Let me bring that tombstone in, because this is the same piece of Designer Series paper from In Good Taste, so you can see what a difference that inking makes. And it's just one of those that has more of like the stone look to the B side. But I thought that cutting off that label Just a little piece of the edge really made it look like a tombstone. That's pretty smart, wasn't it? Those have a neat outline to them. They're different than a lot of our other label dies. They've kind of got a curve on the side. We can bring one of those back in here in just a second and I can show you. So again, I kind of brushed across the surface here to give it just a little bit more depth. I may have overdone it, but a little bit of shadows. And then I actually even came in with the black sponge dauber in just a couple of places. Make it a little bit more spooky. Let's see, let me grab one of those dies so you can see that again. So I think those are really pretty. And of course, you don't have to just use those for Halloween projects. Okay, so we have our tombstone. Let me bring that Memento Tuxedo Black back in. And our stamp says, "Open if you dare." Go ahead and stamp that greeting now. And I think it would be okay in this case, even if it was a little bit crooked. But it looks pretty good. Okay. So then I took just a little piece. Let me grab a scissor out. No. I just took a little piece of this ribbon, maybe 2 inches or so, maybe an inch and a half, and I kind of pulled on the fibers of the edge so that it would kind of tear it a little bit and just make it, I don't know, what do you call that? Distressed. Yes, frayed and distressed. Then pinched it in the middle just to kind of add a cobweb effect back behind there. And I think we'll take a little glue dot or two. Kind of pinch that together, and that's how I'll adhere it. But that's going to also help keep that ribbon together. And I want it kind of hanging off the treat holder on both sides, so it just gives that little look of almost like a cobweb. Whoops. And then we're going to take our tombstone and put on there. So I think that I popped that up. Of course I did. And don't forget that we do have black dimensional, so when you're working on these darker projects with the dark cardstock, we've got them in minis and then the regular size, and they come in a package with both, so it's a little bit different than our regular dimensionals. But I had to pull those back out now that it's time to be using Halloween projects and products, and pull those backings off. I don't have my take your pick tool right here. So we've got our open if you dare, and we'll just put that right on top of our cobweb. A little bit of web just kind of peeking out. And I think we'll go ahead and pop up our moon as well. That's what we do, right? Okay, I know I had that take your pick tool somewhere. Let's put our moon right up here. Then I've got some die cut bats. I've got the 3 smaller ones, and then also a big one for the inside. If I can get him. Gosh, he's little. Okay. Oh, I didn't stamp, did I? Well, I didn't stamp on this moon. I'm thinking of a different project. Okay, let's go ahead and put some bats on, and I may just use some glue dots for these guys. I think that would work well. You could also use the mini dimensionals if you wanted to. Just add those guys. They look a little bit, not creepy. What's the word I'm looking for? Spooky. Did I put him upside down? Can't get this one on the blue dot there. This guy over here, maybe he can be flying this way. And we'll add one more.
They're loving the moon.
Like the moon. Well, you're going to get a chance to do a moon a little bit later with mystery stamping. So, I'm telling you, inking the edges really makes a difference for some of the projects. So, okay. We have the front decorated, you guys, so it looks pretty similar to the one we did earlier. And now we need to put our treats inside. So we went just to Dollar General and got a big bag of candy that has lots of different treats. In this one, we're just going to add 2 of the Kit Kats. Now, a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup or, what's that one you like? A York Peppermint Patty should fit in here. So anything, even a gift card, you can put a gift card back behind your candy if you wanted to. So this is a pretty versatile little treat holder. We're going to bring our ribbon back in, and we're just going to tie a knot here with the ribbon. So I'm not adhering those treats in the holder. They're just being held with the ribbon, and it's fine. They're staying just fine. And I do think I'm going to be making these up for the girls at work as we get closer to Halloween. I always like to do our Halloween class in September, though, so that if you want to recreate any of the projects, or really just to kind of remind you that now is the time to be making your Halloween projects and treat holders, then you're not rushing at the last minute. So if you get your products ordered now, you'll be in good shape. So it does take about a week for me to get products from Stampin' Up. We're going to take another glue dot, and now we've got our big bat, and those all come from the dies. And I just thought it would be fun to have that extra little surprise in there, like that bat is guarding the treats. So just make it a little bit more spooky. So there you go. That is our first project this morning. You like it, Lisa? Yeah, I thought that this would be really fun. It's so easy, and you would get 3. I'm thinking the measurements right. Like I said, I'll share those in a PDF with you guys later this week. But you should be able to get at least 3, I guess 3, from a sheet of cardstock. So then that's really not a very big piece of Designer Series paper. So not a lot of supplies, but super cute. You could really use a lot of different candies inside. All right, we're gonna let y'all go for now. If you don't have your mystery stamping supplies ready, go ahead and get those ready, because it's gonna be a fun layout for that. And we will be back at 10 o'clock. We have another treat holder for you, so give you options today. We've got another treat holder that's got a really fun way to provide the treat. So we'll see you back at 10 o'clock.